Well, happy Friday, everybody. Good to see you as it gets online, and we are just fine. How are y'all doing? It's Friday. As I said in the comment section earlier, it seems like we have lived two lifetimes this week. Um, man, you know, we are all part of history, but when you begin to see what history those moments, and you have that spatial awareness that, hey, this is something that they'll write about, and you and I were part of it. So far out. That's all I got to say. Thank all of you for coming by and stopping in and turning on and tuning in. It is an honor to have you. Thank you. It is deeply appreciated and such a joy. So, speaking favor over us all. I love it when favor manifests, which is pretty much most of the time, all the time, I would say. But when you have those moments, you know that favor was there because it could have been a whole different outcome. I contend that we may be in a time of favor. Now, think about that. Tell me when humanity has been in a time of favor, and I would put forth that this day, this time, now, I think favor has manifested itself. Some people would probably disagree with that. That's okay. Nothing missing, nothing broken. That's a peace beyond understanding. That's far out. My wife and I are taking off for a couple of days, heading to the deep woods. So, looking forward to that because, I need this place where, you can just sit out there and hear nothing but reality. You know, there's a psalm that says shalom, um, which is that be still and know the presence. Now you can put God, you can put nature, put whatever you want there. But very few people actually ever get still. For some people, it's unnerving. But if you get used to it, it becomes almost addicting. So, yeah. But it is amazing in this modern age where technology is everywhere. Very, very few people have downtime. Even when you try to isolate yourself, it is still intrusive. But you get out there away from people, away from, the internet. Just get out there. You leave your cell phone off, and even though it may be a little chilly, and we're at the what I love, my favorite time of year is this time where fall is at its full peak. And depending where you live in the country, it is the transition to a time of where we all should just maybe take a little bit of time and be quiet. Quiet your thoughts, quiet your body, and just truly get in tune to that which cannot always be heard. Now, if you poor folks out in Colorado, out there in Denver, hello, Gilbert, Greg, and the rest of you. Holy crap. Have you had enough snow yet? Yeah, got more coming. Yeah. But even that, I don't miss the snow. The beauty of it, the first snow is pretty cool. But if you lived where I used to live at in Highlands Ranch, it was like, you had to have your driveway and the front part of the sidewalk shoveled, or the HOA would fine your ass. Um, and it takes away from snow. Snow is such a dampening. Snow makes it quiet. And if you're, and many of y'all know who live in that area, You know what it is? If you go out there at night sometime, and if it's when it's really quiet, you can actually hear the snowfall. Yeah. But anyway, so Josh says, Mr. Floyd says he's 30 minutes from Denver, north on I-25. Not as much snow up there, huh? Hello, Lauren. How are you? It is. It's very peaceful. What'd you say, Gilbert? I think about you, brother. Hello, Linda Espinosa. How you doing? And Dragon Sage, good to see you. Susie Q, Scotty Boy, much love, brother. Grace, good to see you. Joyce and Lady Ellie, Chloe, how are you doing? So, did you have a good sale? No, if you ever want to come on here, I'd love to have you, Chloe, and showcase what you got. I've bought crystals from Chloe. Yeah, make great gifts. Give the gift of energy. And isn't it odd? So think about that, Chloe, if you want to. Way to go, Josh. It was very cool to host that for her. John Price, how you doing? Alana, good to see you. Ken, what's up, brother? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. It's been so nice is that Western Virginia? No, Snowler says, I'm right there with you. Lost Suppose says, getting my yard ready for see, there you go. Troy, what's up? Hello, New. Good to see you as well. Deborah Sloan, how are you, my love? Good to see you. Go all the way from Croatia. And Brandon, been good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while as well. Barbara, hello. Good to see you. Uh, so we talk about in this channel, we always look for unity and love. By the way, 11/11/24 will be a day of unity, of peace. And I think I think we can embrace that. Talking to our good friend Ryder, and he encounters a different type of energy. We're so insulated here because most of us know we've been here for a long time. I mean, what, 10 and a half years on YouTube, the other channel, 12. But many of us have come to know each other virtually, granted, but you get to know people by the way they write and express themselves. And so we have this insulator because it's peaceful here. People love one another. People speak faith. We may have disagreements, but it's never to where there's name calling or, angry words written. We've encountered people like that. They don't seem to stick around. And if they do, they end up being changed. So that's kind of cool too. But he encounters a different energy, and it's amazing. Him and I were talking, and how many people, even so-called enlightened people, cannot embrace even the possibility, the potentiality of a golden age. They're so wrapped up in their ideas and their prejudices and biases that because of an individual and everything that has, been done, they can't open their minds to the possibility that, hey, maybe it's not going to be so fucked up. But here's the truth of the matter. I am still surprised by the amount of people, even enlightened people, quote unquote, who are addicted to negativity. They only want to bring up, well, while you were being distracted, and it's always fucking 24/7 conspiracy theory. And it draws upon this sickness, this fear that is a cancer. And because everyone is like lemmings, they run over here, run over there. Where's the nearest fear? And, there's going to be war, and there's going to be fucking depression, and there's just going to be this, and there's going to be that. And don't tell me about a positive. I'm a positive person. I'm just telling you. And, you hear this rhetoric and you just go, really? So you would rather see people in fear, to be able to keep your viewership count high and continually to feed into that and feed it out makes you a pusher. Instead of embracing, hey, there very well may be a golden age. This may be the very beginning. Why not? A hell of a lot better than the alternative path we were on. War, pestilence, it's all going to hell. No, maybe, just maybe, we got a break. Humanity, just maybe. Not saying it's not going to be perfect, won't have a little rough patch, because most people don't know how to be positive. They don't know how to even begin to dream positive. They don't even know how to begin to construct within their consciousness a society that actually is thriving in a golden age. That's mysticism. We're seeing on display on the world stage mysticism of a level that rarely shows itself on this planet. And just maybe, we might be lucky enough to have averted revelations, the return of Jesus Christ and all the sinners, fuck that. No. We say we don't need that crap. We can embrace the fact that humanity has within itself to actually produce and actually make possible a golden age, an age of where biases, ideologies, theologies, philosophies can be put down in such a level that if it doesn't benefit my neighbor, my brother, my sister, I don't want any part of it. I'm just saying. So anyway, there's my commentary for the moment. But it's sad. And I told Ryder, I said, brother, just keep doing what you're doing. He received so much flack from even telling people that there is this go. And what they do, they immediately associate it with Trump. Get over it. Get over it. Get over your biases, your prejudices. You're not sleeping with the man. You're not, but it's what's possible from a visionary. And humanity lacks visionaries today. This man is at least surrounding himself with visionaries of a different future, a different path. And yet you've got others that would rather see the path of destruction instead of seeing where all humanity benefits, prospers, grows. Something wrong. Just saying it. And you can do your part by quit going to other sources where they're just feeding you conspiracy theories, the fear, and that's what it is. It's fear porn, of death, destruction. And when you have the opportunity to embrace peace, a different age, a different dawn for mankind, for all humankind, and quit being so damn touchy. You can't walk in love and be touchy. Touchy is, by the way, you're so thin-skinned that anything that anyone says to you, you're offended by it. Don't work, folks. Bonnie says, what's the topic? Bonnie, I'm right on it, sister. Yeah, I hope you can ride the wave as well. What I'm saying is that we have within our hands the opportunity, the probability, the possibility of a far different future that has been fed into mankind. It doesn't have to end. It doesn't have to be destruction. It doesn't have to be the tearing down. No. We can do a rehab job on it. And it's just fine. We can even make it better. That's the idea. What's that, Lauren? People have a lot of work to do on a personal transmutation level, and we have to try to help them through. Sweetheart, you're absolutely right. Couldn't be more spot on. Um, Kathy says, well, I don't feel everyone is human. I get it. I get it. I don't, there are no humans, Kathy, technically. We're all hybrids. So if we're all hybrids, and listen, every movement starts with one that begins to get two, and then you get to the power equation. We can do it. We just have to learn to embrace it. So anyway, there you go. Bridget, good to see you. Hello. So there you go. Everyone has a different perspective, but it would be nice if we could all drive the perspective and paint this mental image. I see within me that, so I'm going to open the camera and I'm going to have a pan, and it is where you have the cloud deck right here, and then you have the horizon right here. And then as you see coming up, you have this golden light every once in a while, because I'm up early all the time. And it happens not often, but you can get either the sunrise or the sunset at a certain angle and a certain light refraction where everything becomes golden. You ever seen that? So that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's refreshing. So we're humans are Gentiles according to some subhumans. Well, you see, I just say, let's just love everybody. The most difficult people to love and embrace are the very things that we need to encounter more often. Iron sharpens iron. So if you can learn to love the most despicable person that you perceive, you have done more healing on the inside than what you realize. Mountains are being moved. That's what I'm talking about. Bridget says, I tend more to the theory of the Sophic of the OGs and the Anthropos 10, now reference to the Anthropos 11. So in layman's talk, what does that mean? I'm just a simple man. What does that mean? I'm curious because this is how we learn. Hello, Robert V. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Karen says, I've seen the whole world glowing peach color a couple of times. Yeah, I've seen that myself. Got pictures of that. And it's it's that pinkness that's everywhere. It's far out. I mean, it really is. Hello, Source Frequency. What's up? Wow, just reading some of this in the comments. Get that on camera. That's what I'd like to see. Steve, what's up, brother? Yep, I am just a simple man. I really am. Chloe, now you're gonna make me blush. Oh, Ronald, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Hey, Monkey Experiment. Like the discussion yesterday, the evolution of consciousness. Well, let's get right into it, because it's far out. I mean, my dreams last night, I was in the classroom again. I find myself there more often than not. Deborah says the symphonic notes, tones, vibrations. Oh, okay. I get that. Thank you, Deborah. Much appreciated. It's like I wrote Robert Scott. I said, what I do is that I ask the questions. And it's not that I'm looking for the answer. My purpose here is to ask the questions to where you start asking the questions, and then you start seeking your answers. And here's the thing. No two people can find the same answer to the same question. The same question will sometimes render multiple answers. It's depending on the individual. Someone wrote earlier about not knowing the name of God. God's name, or the goddess, is your name. In my days as a minister of, in the Gospels, one of the promises was that you're going to stand before the Lamb, um, and which is Jesus, and he will give you a rock, and then he will take the rock and touch your forehead, and your true name will be revealed. Now, if you take the mysticism, you take the esoteric, and you pull that out. So what's being said here? Could it be possible that part of the trip here is that we don't remember our names, our true names? There's a reason for that. I think it's probably a fail-safe system. So we take on the name given to us by those who were responsible in the physiology point of it, of bringing us in. And so you're taught, and it takes usually about a year for a baby to begin to recognize their name. You forget your real name. But there's reason for it. In certain occult knowledge, and in fact, this comes from the Kabbalah as well, is that the reason why God never revealed his name, because if you knew his name, you could control him. That's why names are so sacred. Just pass it on. I love this. I gotta say this. Steve says Jesus has rock and tacos. Yeah, he does. But yeah, so I just look at it from a different point of view. I mean, again, I embrace everything I learned because it was my initiation. It's higher than any mystery school out there. Now, mystery schools have their purpose and reason, but I'm telling you, a mystery school can't teach you what you gained in 50 years. They just can't. They can add to it, because many of those teachers in those schools have never experienced the experience that you have. In this case, for myself, 50 years in Christianity, Bible student, preacher, gifted in the Holy, yada, yada, yada. So, Richard, yes, I get it now. Yeah. Yeah, quite there with you. All right. So, shall we continue with our reading? I love this because we left it with the author on this, and this was a presentation given. It was a lecture. And the person who wrote me, I didn't get your email, but please do. I'll be more than happy to pass this on. This came from academic.edu. So, and if you're really a pursuer of Gnosis, it's one of the great websites. It really is. You should visit there. You should become a member there. They wrote me and said that I have downloaded more papers, more books, more information. I'm like at the top end. And I have people following me now because they say, all right, so what's he downloading now? So let's continue. This is the new mysticism and the after death. So we were studying Jung, and we left off, and we'll pick up right. It says, and it said, later in the year 1946, Carl Jung expanded on the meaning of the term archetype. He then defined it not only as a structural dominant of the collective unconsciousness. And boy, I had a good discussion and exchange with someone on this whole thought that it's not the conscious mind that's at the center of the power here. It's this unconscious mind, as we read yesterday, but also as having a psychoid aspect, as being a part of the world behind or beyond it. That is so cool. Psychoid. I like that. Being part of a world that's behind ours or in front of ours. This would, he called the unus mundus, the united world of matter and psyche. Its empirically observable contents is what he called synchronicity. All right, that was worth price of admission. Make sure you hit the like button as you're going out. And the last one, turn the lights out. I mean, that right there alone, we could just do a whole hour on that. So what's happening with all the synchronicities within this group? I dare say, I think we've made some breakthroughs here and there, ladies and gentlemen. I think this here group is a unique group. They have shown repeatedly that they can now exist in multiple worlds, and they can call down the very heavens if they so desire. Anyway, under the archetypes, one imagines usually something unbelievably complicated. To get an alive conception of the archetype, there exists, however, a very simple procedure. If one remembers a dream which occurred many years or decades ago, I can tell you the one when I was in Jerusalem, in the underground, and the fountain, and then digging with this jar, this rich soil. And as I put the soil in this jar, it became water. I took the water back to all these ministers that were, that's just one of many. Then it is in all likelihood a dream out of the collective unconsciousness, in which such archaic vestiges or the archetypal motifs spring up. As an example, I would like to mention the positive mother archetype, which can be represented in these dreams by many different pictures, such as an example of a tree, the cave, the toad, turtle, the dinosaur, and so on. I will say this. We are not only mystics, but many of us here are travelers. And I'm speaking to specific individuals. Not everyone's a traveler. And within our travels, we find the necessity that where we are in our travels, we will find others to collect with. And even if it's unbeknownst to us, these are not chance encounters. We need one another. And many times our travels will pull us apart. But no matter what lifetime, what dimension, what realm, we will find our ways back into enclaves such as this. We continue. In the works of Carl Jung, one sees that what he calls the collective unconscious is really something numinous. Behind this numinosity, the divine hides itself. Thus, for him, the collective unconsciousness possesses godlike qualities. We must, however, keep in mind that Jung never speaks of God or of the divine. This concept of the theologians is a metaphysical one, and therefore no subject of an empirical science. To describe the deepest archetype of this analytical psychology, he uses the term God image. In contrary to the metaphysical God of the theologians, the God image is the empirically observable image in our soul. This God image can differ from the canonized, from the image Christians have of their God, and is, as Jung noticed in thousands of dreams, represented by a symmetric mandala structure. You know, isn't it odd? I can say this because 50 years I sought this God out. And what was painted for me was the rules of what this God looks like. And I can still remember the day when I figured it out. And everybody was worshiping and they had their hands extending in the tears. And I'm looking around because my spirit was already moved on. It was my soul that was lingering behind. And I realized that what are we so-called worshiping here? Is it the music? Is it the vibration, the harmony? What image of Jesus are we worshiping? Because the image of Jesus that I have, I found out, ain't the image of the person next to me. So we have this God image that no one can agree upon. But yet, this is supposed to be a spiritual holy thing unfolding here. When that the truth of the matter is, everyone that was sitting in those chairs, those pews, were in fact worshiping themselves. And I believe that, you know, if you get into that vibration, you will have tears. That happens to me. I sing praises all the time. But for myself, it wasn't until I accidentally came upon my God, my goddess. Maybe that's what I would have been searching for, but I certainly didn't know I was on the path. No. But somehow, some people would say, well, that's just ridiculous. That's okay. It's not meant for you. It was meant for me. You know, go find your own God. Look in the mirror. Therefore, for Carl Jung, the center of the collective unconsciousness is the individual God image. Dun, 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 dun. One of the most important tasks of the so-called individuation process he defined as the challenge of our life is thus to find the inner God image in one's own soul and to find the right individual relationship to it. I would have liked to have met this guy. I mean, seriously. Because isn't that what we're just saying here? This group particularly, we have been on this path for a while. And I find it a breakthrough for myself. I was telling my wife how I said I found the God goddess. And she said, did you know? I said, yeah. She says, well, what does he or she look like? I said, they're androgynous, number one. And I said, when you talk to them, it's like you're talking to an individual, but you're talking to both. And she says, well, that's remarkable. I said, the other thing is that they really are love. They don't care what your background, they don't care what you've done, they don't care. It's truly unconditional. They're there for healing, they're there for edification. They don't want worshipers, have no need for worshipers. They don't need a person writing words for them. They're beyond that. They don't need that. They don't need you to write a check to them. They don't need you to have a mediator for the propitiation of your so-called failings. We don't need that. They see you as what you are, and you're beautiful. She says, don't write that down. It'll become a religion. I love my wife. I like how she said, well, congratulations, you know. She's still searching in her own way. She has her own idea, but yeah. We continue. The graphic representation of the collective unconscious looks thus about as shown above in figure 2. The main archetype, the God image, is placed in the center, and around it are the groups, its many different characteristics, the other archetypes of the collective unconsciousness. And now you understand why I speak of the new mysticism. If the collective unconscious processes divine qualities, and the center of it even corresponds to the individual inner God image, an occupation with the archetype dreams and visions of the collective unconsciousness emerges as an inner relationship with the divine. This relationship with the divine is one's own soul, represents, however, mysticism in the broadest sense of the word. That's why I love y'all. It's not to say that we could all live in one place, but it was never meant to be that way. We're each on our own journey of discovery. And it is indeed an honor and just a thrill to be able to come, and particularly when we reach these collective epiphanies. And within the diverse group here, there are divers of many different opinions and perspectives, but yet we can let those walls down long enough to share with one another. It says, we know from the history of mystics, above all from the feminine mystics, and that's what I dare say, folks, we need more of you ladies. We got some powerful ones here, but the world could use a lot more of y'all. Just my 2 cents. That the content of their visions and dreams from the collective unconsciousness were modified by their confessors. All visions, which are not compatible with the official church doctrine, were condemned as worshiping the devil. Thus, most of the visions of Christian mystics have been falsified and thus cannot be used to compare with today's mystical experiences. You know, A Second Look is probably one of the shows that epitomizes and elevates the divine phenomenon to a platform that it's respected and revered. And many of you ladies, hello, Lauren. Just a few. I can name the rest of y'all, but yeah. You are powerful beings, and it's an honor to have you here. Thank you. You bring more than what you realize. We continue. However, the visions of the Swiss Saint Nicholas von Flue are an exception. Since he did not live in a monastery, the clerics did not have any power over his visions, and his life is a simple Swiss farmer likewise protected these visions from the know-it-all dogmatic wisdom of the clerics. And I'll just say this is why I'm suspicious when I read books of supposed wisdom. Not to say that they're not there, but again, they're written by a man, mostly. And I don't know who that author is. So either the author is channeling information, or I am reading his vision. And so it makes me skeptical. We continue. It is to be owed to these circumstances that we have his visions in the original and thus unpurified form. As Marie-Louise von Franz has shown, In them, the whole dramatic mythology lies hidden. In the history of the mystics, it was thus tried again and again to force the contents of their visions to agree with the dogmatic teachings of the church's God image. And that's what the West is suffering under. We have been forced to accept an image of a being that has no personal relationship with any of us. But we're told to look through the mediumship of the church in order to understand this God image. That's a trap, folks. It's a trap. The real new aspect of the mysticism I suggest consists, therefore, in contrast to the procedure of the censorship practiced by the Christian clerics, in an objective and unbiased encounter with the visions and archetype dreams emerging from the collective unconsciousness. In this way, confessing Christians discover perhaps in their unconsciousness a tantric image, God image, and they will have the task to combine the Christian God image with the Tantric, or convince Christians to find in the collective unconsciousness remnants of the Jewish God image, which they must now bring in agreement with the Christian, and so on. And we know that's the problem. In fact, I know personally so many former Christians is that they could not reconcile this Old Testament God to this New Testament God. And what the hell was this Jesus character doing? Was he brokering for this insane Old Testament God to this new, unknown New Testament God? To whom did he really represent all this? And so the church, in the masterfulness of this play, tried to blend in a part of the history to give it relevancy, which it had no part of to begin with. And then that's where you start getting the conflicts. 6, the mysticism of the Swiss Saint Nicholas von Flue. Briefly said, the new mysticisms consist in a completely unprejudiced way of dealing with one's visions and dreams from the collective unconscious and trying to understand of which individual God image they speak. And so when even y'all write in your comments and what have you, and thank you for those, I think we have to make sure if you're going to use the reference of God, what God are you talking about? I say that with due respect because I don't know. Is there one God? I don't think so. There's a source, no doubt. But I contend that humanity has been blinded to what the true God goddess is. We don't know. And now it has prolonged for so long in our collective consciousness that this new paradigm that has been brought forth to man's unconscious collective, wow, we're seeing the fractures within the construct. You can say that the matrix is broken. Already in his youth, he was overwhelmed by visions that spoke of a God image which greatly differed from the approved Christian view. We see this fact in the vision of the frightening face of God. In his consciousness, Nicholas Flue believed that there were 3 persons in one God. In the so-called Holy Trinity, this means that God consisted of the 3 male persons, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. That sounds to me like a gay club. Not that I got anything problem with it. I'm just saying, but, let's call it for what it is. There are a lot of testosterone here going on, but you don't see any of the ladies. That's just my opinion. However, in the collective unconscious of Nicholas, a completely different God image was constellated, one that corresponded to a double trinity, which is symbolized by the two groups of three lance points pointing in opposite directions. During an inner process of several years, Nicholas transformed this vision in his today's famous image of the wheel. Now, we've done studies on sigils. We know what sigils can do. We know what glyphs can do. This one resonates with me. It really does. I can apply what I have seen to that. What say y'all? I mean, that is this. If you just meditate on this, it's yeah. So this is Nicholas Flue, his image of the double trinity. And you come to think about that just logically, why wouldn't there be a divine feminine trinity? I mean, if you have the male trinity, you would have to have the divine feminine trinity. Where are they? Why isn't anyone speaking of them? Why isn't this being the forefront of every, enlightened every mystic's life? We've had damn sure browbeated into us the traditional Western esoteric or theology of the theologians' Trinity. And you think about how freaking biased that is. Well, besides the very undogmatic double trinitic structure, in Nicholas's renewed God image, and apart from the Holy Spirit, a goddess also appears. Nicholas' image of the wheel corrects, therefore, the Christian God image and supplements it with the feminine principle, which had been excluded by the Church Fathers. Nearly 500 years later, Pope Pius XII proclaimed the dogma of the Assumpto Maria, the dogma of the corporeal ascension of the God Mother Maria, and was laughed at by most theologians. For Carl Jung, this acknowledgement of the female as divine principle is, however, a large hope for the spiritual future of the Christian world. Could you imagine? Could you imagine that an epiphany hits Christianity? And suddenly, this demiurge that was here, this Baal Deboeth, this monster, is taken down, and the Christian religion embraces what the true Christ was trying to say. And suddenly, the Holy Trinity is not replaced so much as that it's once again united with its other half. I would dare say Christianity may be a kind religion. Maybe it might spread to the other Abrahamic belief systems. I think there would be great resistance, but I believe it's possible. Imagine, instead of saying God the Father, we acknowledge the divine feminine, the mother. Instead of the son, we acknowledge the daughter. And to me, the Holy Spirit is more feminine than it is masculine. He uses a reference point here. In the year 1953, the physicist and Nobel laureate Wolfgang Pauli criticized the Assumptio in the letter to Carl Jung, Adam and Archetype letter, as a neo-Platonic procedure and therefore criticized also Jung, who compared the assumptive tongue-tied already, with the quaternarian archetype of self. He defined as the center of the collective unconsciousness. Pauli argued that by this procedure, it was only disinfected matter, a defective feminine principle, which was liberated and sent to the Christian heaven. Like this, he argued, matter, the archetype of the feminine principle, was not transformed in concordance with Hermetic alchemy. Again, clear bias. If one thing I can say is in the last 10.5 years, I know that there is this conscious repression, repulsing anything to do with the divine feminine. That's the problem with the satanic church. It's the problem with the Luciferians. It's the problem that permeates every thought of consciousness. It is devoid of the mother, the divine feminine. No, we would rather sexualize it than give homage to it. In Hermetic alchemy, there exists a symmetry between matter and spirit. In the so-called conjunto, I know I messed that up, the sexual union of the god and the goddess as the final process of the Hermetic alchemical opus. The latter was first defined as an anti-trinity, too. Second, it transformed into the masculine divine principle as well as the Tertiarian masculine into the feminine. By this procedure, an immediate reality was created, and not the all spiritual principle of the Neoplatonic alchemy. Out of the incarnato, the incarnation of the so-called infinite solus, the sun's child, or the extraction of the red tincture happened. This red tincture Pauli compared with the extended comprehension of radioactivity, seen on a deeper psychophysical level, which in itself the unus mundus, the empirical observable, the psychophysical reality out of the new creation, newly animated matter, is born. As I have shown elsewhere, this today created newly animated matter are the UFOs and their inhabitants, encounter and abduction victims experienced as a subtle body reality in their mind and body. Oh, that's nice of you, Steiger, to drop that little bomb on us as you're closing your show out. Let's stop and think about this. This will blow the whole UFO, the UAP phenomenon, the alien phenomenon completely out of the water. It means we created them. We created them out of this. Oh, yeah, they exist because we created them. I mean, that's what it's saying. Newly animated matter. Wow. And that's a head drop right there. There has to be sex between God and the goddess. There's some form of coitus that's taking place, but you'll never hear it taught. You'll never hear it spoken about because it's taboo. God doesn't have sex. The hell he doesn't. If he didn't, we couldn't. And it's not just animalistic. If you read the scripture, it says that when a man and a woman is joined sexually, they are joined spiritually. That's why the church taught that not to have too many sexual partners, because you may be picking up something more than just physical. But look what happened. It looks like it was brought in way before, I'm sure, 500-600 years ago. Who knows how further back? But they transformed it into the masculine divine principle in order to validate their position as a religion, the religion. Because, the United States was formed after God, and, they don't even know what fucking God they're talking about. Oh, well, it's on the back of the money. Well, tell me which God. Well, it's that Christian God. How do you know that? Explain to me who the Christian God is. Well, he switched religions. He was a Jew first, and then he became Christian. No. He didn't do that. He became a Muslim. No, he didn't. I mean, hello. And so they're Trantarian masculine into the. You can see this. And this tells me that we're on the path of something marvelous here. She's looking to have a place in your life. She already does, but it's just sometimes because she has been alienated, defiled, subjugated to ridicule. They did a character assassination on her. And it said, by this procedure, an immediate reality was created. Now, if it can be done here, don't tell me it can't be done again. And this was not a large group. This was a small group. Look what they did and the effect they had on the world. You and I, we can collectively, unconscious, collectively, conscious-wise, we can do the same thing. But obviously, there's huge consequences and risks to this because it can become a reality. And maybe that's what we're dealing with. So the tincture of red, and that just, my mind is going 1,000 miles per second on this one. Compared to radioactivity, isn't that so freaking interesting? Out of this, a new creation, newly animated matter is created, brought into reality. That's not saying it is. This is just a hypothesis, but wow. And folks, we're only halfway through the book of this presentation, but this is mind-blowing stuff. We'll pick it back up here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get here on Monday. I'm going to try. As I said, Lynn and I are heading out into the country. I'll have to go back and read in the chat room. I love y'all's comments. And certainly let me know what you think of this. This is interesting. I haven't heard this really taught in a broader sense. It's quite fascinating to think that this phenomenon that we're witnessing today is really us creating this. Now, if we can do that, I'm telling you, love to have you that if you have that same passion, let me know. Well, John, no, Sunday is not on. I just said Lynn and I are heading out to the woods. We're going to take a little time. We're going to snuggle with one another. We're going to embrace and love one another. And we're going to get away from all of the other distractions. We're going to find that quiet time. So there you go. Yeah, thank you, Robert. Yeah, we are. I'm telling you, this is something Joyce says it's happening now. We can do it. Yeah, I believe we can, folks. Our little group, I mean, we'll reconvene, but wow. I mean, I just feel like I have been, you know, someone has just given me a full vitamin B12 shot. It's like, wow. My mind is just exploding with everything that we have what I personally have gone through. But when we look at all this, this is just amazing. Um, Thank you, Bonnie. Um, Pamela, good, good. I'm telling you, I would love to be able to have the ability just to fly everybody in. And wow, my mind's going quite a bit. Deborah, thank you, darling. Indeed. Um, so tell me, what do y'all think about this? Hello, Jules. How are you, darling? How you doing? Robert says, I get away from distraction as soon as I get home and turn off the phone. Yeah. Well, we're going to take a couple of more hours than that. But yeah. Millie, what's up? Thank you, dear. Thank you. Yeah. We'll get to get it. We'll get it back. I love this. I love y'all's comments. Lauren, we'll see each other soon. Wayne, to access this document, is there a link in the notes? Karen, I have the PDF. So if you want the PDF, or I'll put it in when I repost this, I'll put the name of the paper, and then you can go in, and if you go to academic.edu, you'll find the paper there as well. So yeah, thank you, Millie. It is the fire. It burns in me. I can't get away from it. It's yeah. Hello, Michelle. How are you? You're watching this on TV. Wow. Okay. Wonderful. I guess the TV, they don't have the chat, do they? Thank you, Barbara. Ruby, how are you, dear? So, everyone, thank you. It's a holiday weekend, so I will try to get back early. It just depends. I'm not saying, but we'll see how it goes. So, if you see me on Monday, be far out. We'll continue on this. I do want to continue. This is such, wow. I mean, I feel like I'm at this buffet, and I just suddenly found a part of the presentation that's delicious. It's like, I want some more of that. So we'll feed on this again, definitely on Monday or the next time we get together. And then Tuesday, it will definitely bring some light with Trina and Jenny. So, woo, I am buzzing, folks. This is some good, good stuff. Thank you, Robin. Right back at you. And thank you, veteran Steve. Absolutely. All of you who have served and sacrificed your time, we thank you and we appreciate that. So there you go. All right. Check out Robert V. You're going to be on tonight. I think he's doing his memorial to Dalbor, and which is really cool. So far out. Mike, good to see you. Sweet potato pie. Ain't that the truth? Grace, much love to you, darling. Chloe. So y'all have yourselves a great weekend. Yeah, dig it. Thank you. Thank you for hitting the like button as you're out. And if you subscribe, make sure you subscribe. Recommend it to a friend to subscribe. And we can grow this thing. We can. And thank you, ladies. You guys, it's cool to have you here. Love your bros, what have you. But it's the ladies. That is the one that has enhanced this community and this group. And ladies, we love you. We just thank you. We thank you for what you bring. And what you've taught us men, we're better for it. I know I am. So I do appreciate it so much. Hey, doctor, what's up? So, Dragon Sage, have a good weekend yourself. Magic one, it shall be. Because we are magic. And like the hello, Stephanie Marie. Good to see you. So thank you again, ladies. Exactly. They seem like Loretta says they do bring the bros. I agree with you. So, but thank you again, just out of respect and just acknowledgement. So, and then together we just we rock. That's all I got to say. All right, everybody, I'm going to be out of here right now. So have a good one.